Okay.
All right, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. It's Arknolia and the Doctor with me, Arknolia Strokabine, YR, and pretty soon to join in on the call, the renamed, brand new
Woo!
Prince Donatello, formerly known as Prince Idol. That's right, and we're going to be live on all our channels here. The YR program, my channel, and Arknolia Strokabine's channel here. So it's a three-way simulcast when you look at it. And of course, tonight we're going to continue our prog rock series, and we're going to be discussing Genesis, Genesis, the band.
And we're basically going to concentrate on the early years more than the later years.
Yeah, because not so many people out there today only know the top 40 Genesis with songs like Mama, That's All, Misunderstanding, Abacab, from basically from 1981 all the way up to now. And by the way,
We might mention it, but we won't dwell on it.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna. But by the way, it should fit to say that Genesis right now are on their second reunion tour, with Phil Collins, to take it over the vocals and sitting down, as you all know, because he has this nerve condition, which sadly, hardly makes him unable to walk, at times for something. I don't know how the hell that happened. For what I understand, this started on the last previous Genesis tour where he was having issues with his
Oh,
spine for some reason there, and
yeah.
it just got worse and worse and worse. Now he did come out of retirement doing a comeback tour, which he was, of course, the same way. Had to sit down on a little chair there with a microphone and everything else there. Of course. And now on this tour, he has his son Nick on the drums and somebody else doing the guitar and bass just as well. And of course, the other members of Genesis being keyboardist Tony Banks and guitarist and bassist Michael Rutherford. And of course, Genesis, we know, is probably one of along with Yes, King Crimson, other bands out there. They're like considered the bigwigs of the prog rock series there. And we're going to be covering, as Arkin mentioned, we're going to be covering most of the early years with Peter Gabriel and Steve Hackett included there.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of people today don't really understand. People think that Peter Gabriel just came out of the blue as a solo artist back in the 70s with his songs like Salisbury
Oh,
Hill,
yeah.
Games Without Frontiers, and later a top 40 hit with a Sledgehammer, and of course, Big Time. But
In your
he's
eyes.
in your eyes, yeah, which was constantly played a lot or during that time because it was featured in that movie Say Anything, I guess in '89, I believe it was. But
Right.
as we all know, he started with Genesis. He was considered one of the prime theatrical frontmans out there. Next to basically he had a lot of costumes and designs for his stage performances. And he was also one of the guys to really do something different with his hair. He took I guess he took a razor, shaved part of the top of his head there, so it's like a big rectangular bald spot on the top of his head there. You look up Genesis 1973 and you see what I'm talking about there.
And by the way, if you go on YouTube, try to get some of the live stuff with Gabriel fronting them, and you'll see what we're talking about with the
Yeah,
costumes.
there was performance. I guess it's the hour long that's remastered and re-edited. I guess of some Genesis live, and the first track they start with is a piece called "Watcher of the Skies," and you see,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and I guess that's one of the most recognizable tunes of the that period there, along with "Supper's Ready" and "Nursery Crime." And of course, we cannot forget the album "The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway," which has some
Yes.
real interesting artwork by the group
What year is that
Hypnosis.
off of, by the way?
I think that came out in 1974.
Okay.
That album did. It's a concept album. I guess it takes place in New York City. We got to look into that definitely.
Well, we'll cover each album as they come up.
Absolutely there.
Now, the first one, uh, from Genesis to Revelation,
Hmm.
is kind of a let's find our way type album.
Uh huh.
It's okay, it's got its moments, but it's not great.
Hmm.
And the members of the band at that time were Peter Gabriel, Tony Banks, a guy named Anthony Phillips,
Yeah, I heard about this guy. He was like, I guess, yeah, he was one of the original guitar players, from what I understand.
right?
Yeah.
Mike Rutherford, and another. The drummer was a guy named John Silver
Oh, really? So Collins
on
came
that
in.
album.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, that album's kind of a exploratory album for him. It's kind of like,
We're
well, what do
here,
we
but
want to
we're
do? I don't
okay.
know. Let's try this. Okay,
Let's
let's
try
try
that.
this.
Let's do this. Let's try that.
Okay, are we all here?
We are on here. Prince Donatello, ladies and gentlemen, is here now.
Is
Who's that? No, I'm kidding.
All right.
Is Wire
Yeah, he's right here as well. Yeah, I guess. Let me see. I believe he's muted right now.
Prince, how you doing, brother?
What's going on? What's going on?
I'm eating on some dinner, guys. I'm saving my I'm listening, but I'm saving my Richie Faulkner story for later. We can do that after y'all.
Yeah, we gotta talk
listen.
about him and wish him the best here.
Yes.
We'll discuss that later on. And we also got to get something ready for coming on later on. I was contacted by Prince and Carlos. What's his last name again? Dangummit?
Cabral.
Carlos Cabral. I guess he invited me onto a wrestling program later on this evening here. I'm going to take part of. I guess I'm going to stick around for that, folks. I haven't done any wrestling shows, and I don't think I only talked about wrestling items on my channel there in the various vlogs. But, however, this will probably be the first time I ever done a full all-out wrestling program where we discuss, the highlights of AEW and such there. And keep in mind, I'm going to have to look into some highlights from the Google there because I'm at work most of the time, so I got some catching up to do on what's going on with both the WWE, AEW, Impact, and others.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely there. All right, so the first album.
Okay,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first.
I was going to say the next.
No, dang gummit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the first album from Genesis to Revelation that was released. It was a Spinal Own Path record for a debut album. And I guess the second one came out. What is it called again?
Foxtrot.
Foxtrot. That's the one that's the one I guess that really started getting
They
recognition.
definitely went into prog then.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And by this time, Phil Collins joins the group, I guess?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Wow.
On this album, there's a guy by the name of John Mayhew's taking drums.
Oh, okay. So they got a new drummer there, and I guess the second drummer there. So I guess this makes Phil Collins the third drummer for the group there officially.
Well, possibly. We'll find out.
Yeah.
And actually, I goofed. The name of that album was Trespass.
Okay, that came out in 1970.
Right.
It was released on a label called Charisma Records, which is basically distributed by Virgin Records at that time there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one was Nursery Crime.
Yep.
And that's where they started getting some of their more recognizable stuff.
Yeah.
The Music Box.
Yeah.
The Return of the Giant Hogweed.
Mm-hmm.
7 Stones.
Yes.
Harlequin.
Harold the Barrel.
Yeah. The Fountain of Simolicus.
Ah.
Okay, and this one, let's see. Steve Hackett has joined the group. Phil Collins has joined the group.
Ah, so the Genesis we know by heart, the old Genesis, is now in formation there. Yeah, absolutely. And they start their run around on the album Foxtrot, which came out in 1972. And this is the album with Watcher of the Skies as the first track of there.
Yeah, and that's a very, very good tune. This might be one of the best early albums.
Yep.
Let's see. It also had
Timetable.
Get 'Em Out by Friday.
Get 'Em Out, yep. Can Utility and the Coastliners.
And then the infamous Supper's Ready.
Yeah, which I understand is about the Last Supper that Christ did, I guess, what I understand.
I believe so.
I gotta look that up. Ah.
Yes, the Last Supper, yes.
Yeah.
And we have the same bunch here.
Yep.
And I'm going to mention now that Phil Collins was a phenomenal drummer. He
I
was
know he
actually
was.
pretty good.
Yes, he was. You know, a lot people don't really recognize his drumming abilities. He was one kick-ass drummer when you look at it.
Yes, he was. He
Yeah,
was a
absolutely.
very good drummer.
Yes, he was. People only know the hits he did with Genesis and his solo career, but he's got to be recognized for his drumming abilities, which sadly he's unable to do now in his state right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame
It
too.
is. It's sad.
Yeah, because that iconic little drum thing in the air tonight is
Yeah,
him.
absolutely. We all know he did the drums on the whole album itself, all
Yeah.
his records.
Okay, the next one is one I find very entertaining for me. Selling England by the Pound.
Hmm.
Dancing with the Moonlit Night is where it starts. Great song. I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe, another great song.
Uh-huh.
Bertha Fifth, another good song. More Fool Me. The Battle of Epping Forest. After the Ordeal, which is an instrumental.
Hmm.
The Cinema Show. And Isle of Plenty.
Ah,
It's a real good album.
all right.
I think my favorite track on that album is Dancing with the Moonlit Night.
All right.
But that's same group. I mean, they didn't change.
Same lineup. Yep. Now the next one is the most interesting here. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. This would be the last album to feature Peter Gabriel as their frontman. It came out in 1974, and the band apparently worked on the new material at a place called Headley Grange for about 3 months. They decided to produce a concept album, and the story was devised by Gabriel himself. A story about a person named Raul. I think it's spelled Rael, who is a Puerto Rican youth from New York City who is suddenly taken on a journey of self-discovery and encounters bizarre incidents and characters along the way. The album was marked by increased tensions within the band as Gabriel, who insisted on writing all the lyrics of the album, temporarily left to work with filmmaker William Rifkin, the guy, Rifkin, I guess his name is R.F. No, wait, see this. Blah, son of a bitch, Earl. Get your shit together. Friedkin. The guy who directed the
Freakin'?
Freakin'. Yes, thank you. The same director who did the first Exorcist movie back in the year before there. And he needed time to be with his family just as well. Gabriel did as well there. Most of the songs were developed by the rest of the band through various jam sessions or were laid down at a glass pant manor in Wales, England, using a mobile studio.
And this is a good album to listen to. There's a
It
lot
is.
of good stuff on
I
it.
was listening. I was listening to this record from YouTube or through my Bluetooth while I was at my previous job. It's like really interesting stuff to listen to here. By this time,
Uh,
Gabriel had cut some of his hair, but he was still doing the theatrical makeup just as well there.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite songs in this album is Fly on a Windshield. That one is incredible.
And also the incredible artwork on the album just as well needs to be mentioned. Hypnosis, the two guys, Aubrey Powell and Storm Thorgerson, who did Works album covers for Judas. No, not, what am I talking about? Earl, you're a fucking idiot. Get your shit together. Two for Black Sabbath, one for AC/DC, most of the Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Alan Parsons Project, and other bands like I guess Muse, there's a couple others just as well.
Yo,
Go ahead.
That's something I wanted to say. I meant to tell y'all last week. I'm
Yeah.
a fan of, now I forget which album, but 80s Pink Floyd, I believe.
Yeah.
There's a couple songs that are pretty cool. They got an album on the Amazon Music.
Yes.
And there's one of those hits on there. I forget what it was. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna let y'all know. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to mention in that Fly on a Windshield,
Yeah.
you really get to hear Phil Collins do some real great drumming in that one.
Ah, see there. Yes.
Carpet Crawlers is a good one.
Yep. I don't remember. I didn't really get a chance to listen to the whole album in general because by the time it was getting towards the end, we had to clean up there, and so we gotta concentrate on that and all that bullshit there. But once again, great artwork from the Hypnosis on the back, front, and back cover. Good.
Which one?
Learning to Fly song.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Momentary Lapse of Reason.
1987.
That's 80s? Okay,
87, yes.
All right.
Yep.
All right. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, obviously, I don't want to go back and forth, but I just wanted to throw that in there because I forgot to mention last week. But yeah, it's a good song, and it's all about Dark Side of the Moon. I mean, it is, but it's not. There's a lot of other stuff to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That is true as well, Dan.
Well, it's kind of hard to pick
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
It's kind of hard to pick a favorite, but probably for me it's Animals.
Wow.
Then Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah. For me, it'd probably be Animals and The Wall there because of the themes behind those two records.
Yeah.
We're still talking about Journey, right? We're not talking about Pink.
Journey.
Genesis.
Was there a song about Dark Side of the Moon on Pink Floyd's album as well?
Who again?
Oh, we mentioned it, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it in there, friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great album.
It is.
And set records for being on the Billboard Top 100 for
15 years. 15 years, up until about 1987. Then it came back when it released the Division Bell in 94. It popped back up again for a few more weeks, along with Wish You Were Here and The Wall.
Yeah. Now at this point, Peter Gabriel has left the group.
Yep. And now at Phil Collins, they tried. Well, basically, it came by accidentally. He became the group accidentally. Whichever singer they would bring in to try out there, Phil would give them some guidelines of how the song goes, this and that. And I guess the band decided, hey, he has the same range as Peter. Let's have him as a new frontman. But this time, no makeup, no theatrics and all that. Phil's his own person. Let's concentrate on the music,
Yeah, and actually, for the first 2 or 3 albums, they did just exactly that.
Yeah.
The first one they did was A Trick of the Tail, and I'll be honest, it's a very good album. Very good album.
All right.
Yeah, Dance on a Volcano, Squonk, Entangled, Robbery, Assault, and Battery.
Yeah, the title cut there as well.
Ripples.
Yep.
Yeah, Ripples, which is a great song.
And
Los Endos.
Right.
And like I said, they were down to 4 now because they didn't replace Phil on drums. He's still playing drums.
Yeah, but they also brought in the extra drummer. I guess his name was Chester Thompson. He would do he would play the drums mostly while Phil was on the microphone there, but occasionally Phil would get behind him and jam with Thompson on the various instrumental tracks there.
Yeah. And they followed up Trick of the Tail. Well,
with Wind and Wuthering.
Yeah, I know. I went by it.
I know, yep. And they also released a couple of live. I think around this time they released a live album called Sick It's Out. I don't know if it came after this album or after the last or the next one there or which.
And actually, they had released a live album, Peter Gabriel, back in the day.
Yeah, it did.
This one's got some good stuff. 11th Earl of Mars. And again, they're in their prog bit.
Still in the prog.
Your Own Special Way, which actually was kind of a radio hit.
I guess.
Afterglow.
Afterglow. That's the closing track there. Blood on the Rooftops.
Yeah, All in a Mouse's Night.
Yep.
I mean, they were still doing a good prog bit with them.
Yes, they were. Now, this one here would cement the current Genesis we know by heart, the trio. And then there were 3. Steve Hackett
Right.
had also signed with Chrysalis Records at that time. The same label that had Jethro Tull and later Debbie Harry and Blondie and the Babies with John Waite. And he recorded a couple of solo records of his own. My personal favorite from him would have The Voyage of the Acolyte, which features a song called Star of Sirius, featuring Phil Collins on vocals. Check it out, everybody, if you know what I'm talking about there. But there's pretty good stuff there.
Yeah. Now on this, and then there were three.
Yeah.
The opening track, Down and Out, is a very interesting prog song.
Mm-hmm.
It changes up tempo a few times, and there's some offbeat stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very, very interesting song to listen to. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And they closed the album out with Follow You, Follow Me.
Which would become
was,
their first top 40 hit.
Yeah. And I think that's what kind of spurred them on to try top 40, because the next album they got into a little heavier.
Yeah, absolutely. The 1980s Duke. The song Misunderstanding from that album would have became a big radio hit there, along with Turn It On Again.
Yeah, and you could see the shift coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And around this time, Mike Rutherford released his concept album. He released this record. I remember hearing about this around that time this album came out. It was called Sleep Crawler's Day. I guess it was a story about a man named Sleep Crawler who is building a machine but doesn't know what he's building, I guess. I don't really know the whole details of the whole album myself. That's what I remembered in a reading a magazine back then when they first told about this album here. And I guess Phil Collins was also involved with another project called Brand X, which doesn't tour but released a bunch of albums.
Yeah. And then they followed this up with Abacab, which Abacab was kind of
big,
trying to get back into prog, but not really.
And this is when the Genesis became the hit machine that we knew now. Now, keep in mind, between these two albums, Phil Collins was having a lot of marital problems. His first wife was, she decided to leave him because he's always on the road. He's always playing these shows. And she felt lonely. She felt disgruntlement, So she moves to Vancouver in Canada. Phil decides to move in with her and try to work things out. And eventually she decided to file for divorce. This hurt Phil a lot. He wrote a bunch of songs there detailing his heartbreak, and one of those songs will become his signature solo hit, "In the Air Tonight."
Yeah.
And for the record, let's dislodge this bullshit about the one of the details of the song. They said that the song was about Phil witnessing a man drowning and the band nearby doing nothing. Later on in the evening, Phil does a show, and he sees the same man who did nothing in the crowd, spotlights on him, and sings that song to him, which the man later goes and commits suicide out of guilt. That's a load of rubbish, folks. We know what the song's about. It's about Phil going through his divorce, which I understand really kind of traumatized him a lot, because a lot of his slower stuff was filled with resentment and anger, and like on Abacat, the song "No Reply at All," "Like It or Not," and of course the songs from his solo records like "Do You Know, Do You Care," "Can It Wait Till the Morning." It was all detailed. He was detailing his anger, his hurt, his frustration with what happened with his first marriage, and it showed in his music there.
Yeah. The next album was simply titled Genesis.
Yeah, 1983. Mama, the first.
This one definitely was loaded with top 40 type hits.
Yeah, exactly. Like Illegal Alien, Taking It All Too Hard, Home by the Sea, which is a pretty good song there. The second, Home by the Sea, which is its continuation. But the main hit from that album was That's All, the second track.
Yeah, and it's different, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just not the Genesis we knew.
Yeah, I know. It's remember, this is going through a lot of time. Many prog rock bands had to go through a transformation,
Oh
because
yeah,
to fit into the era that was
especially
did.
going in. Yeah, especially going in the '80s, bro. You know what I'm
Absolutely,
saying?
yeah. You can't. I mean,
Well,
even
the only prog band I can think of that didn't really do that much was Pink Floyd.
yeah. And but remember, Pink Floyd wasn't around that much throughout the 80s. Remember, they only
True.
released about two studio albums, The Final Cut and Momentary Lapse of Reason, two studio albums and one live album a year afterwards.
Well, what you guys did last week, if you want a background on Pink Floyd, that's the show to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Y'all
we did.
really dove into that. So
Absolutely.
And then they followed
They
this up with
Invisible Touch,
Invisible Touch.
1986. That was another top 40 album, spewing out big hits like the title cut, Land of Confusion, which we all remember the video for there. It's kind of funny when you look at it. There was produced by a British TV show called Spitting Image, and it also got covered by the metal band Disturbed a couple years back there. And plus, song like In Too Deep was a big hit as well. Tonight, 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 which by the way is about a person trying to get off heroin, from what I understand there.
Yeah.
And the
Tony.
what up? What up? What about Tony? Oh, never mind.
He does.
Oh gosh, don't tell me that fool does that shit.
You didn't know that?
No, I
Oh,
never knew that.
no.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Get his ass to rehab, dang gummit.
Okay, then we followed this up with We Can't Dance,
Yeah, from 1991, and the title
which
cut.
just really turned on the top 40 hits.
Yeah, like No Son of Mine, Jesus He Knows Me, which is a take on the televangelist. The
Right.
title cut is about a pair of jeans, or how they're marketed as the big thing to wear if you want to get noticed by the chicks. Like, remember those stupid jean commercial? I guess it was, what is it, Sassoon jeans? Like, the Go-Go's are playing their song and they stop. Are you wearing Sassoon jeans? Oh, yes, I am, ma'am. Okay, I just wanted to know. Carry on, blah, 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 blah. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this turned out to be the last album Phil Collins did.
Yeah, absolutely. Years on down the line, he released a couple more solo records and decided, it's time to depart. I have a solo career to do. It's starting to overshadow Genesis when you think about it there. Now,
Well, all five main members had solo careers of sorts.
yeah. Mike and Mechanics featuring Mike Rutherford, Tony
Right.
Banks.
I think they
That
only
became
did
a
one
top
album.
40. Well, I actually did a couple others there. They did the self-titled one and then the Living Years. The title cut for that album was about the birth of his son and the passing of his father, which occurred around the same time there. Silent
Yep.
Running from the first album was about a man trying to get a message through to his family about some sort of a futuristic war coming. And of course, that also featured Paul Carrack, who we also know worked with Roger Waters, Squeeze, and the band Ace.
Right. Okay, Genesis on their last album, Calling All Stations,
Different singer.
yeah, used a guy by the name of Ray Wright.
Yeah. And this
No,
is
I'm sorry, Ray Wilson.
okay. And sadly, this was an album that did not do anything. It got any radio airplay. It got limited play on the VH1 channel. It just, went nowhere. It just came and went.
In a way, it kind of harkens back to their first album.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah. I mean, like, people would be like, I'm sorry, but this is not the Genesis we know. People are so, when you have a singer for many years that people grow accustomed to, you get this new guy in, and it's like, huh?
No, thank you.
Exactly. And they had a hard time accepting it. And that would be, I guess, the very last Genesis album out there.
Studio.
Yeah, studio album there. Of course, we would have the compilation Genesis Archive, which features all the tracks from the up to 1970. And of course, Genesis. Genesis Archive 2.
Basically, they went back and found tracks, different versions of. They were noticeable tracks, but something would be different about them.
Yeah.
And of course, they had the live albums, Genesis Live with Peter Gabriel. Let's see, Seconds Out you mentioned.
Yep. And then
Three Sides Live.
Yep, which came out after the Abacab album.
Right. And then The Way We Walk, Volume 1.
Yep. And let's go back to Three Sides Live. They had, like I said, it was a Three Sides Live with the fourth one being some studio tracks. The song Paper Late was a big hit on the radio there.
Yeah.
And
it was interesting to hear Phil Collins do some of the Peter Gabriel songs, because he actually did a good job on them.
Yeah, it is. Because remember, they have similar vocal ranges when you look at it. Now, Peter Gabriel, he was worried. In the interview, he did mention that he was kind of worried with his where he would go after he left the group, because Genesis did well in the UK there. But he would go on to have himself a well-respected and established solo career as well. He would release his first 4 solo albums will be all titled Peter Gabriel. When they all got re-released in the early 2000s under his current label, Geffen Records, they were all given parentheses titles. Like the first album was called The Rain Album, the Car Album, because he's sitting in the car. The second album would be called The Scratch Album, where he's scratching in midair there. The third album would be the Melt Album, because half of his face is melting on the front cover there. That's the one with Biko, his signature song about anti-apartheid activist Stephen Biko.
Right.
And of course, Games Without Frontiers. The fourth album, which came out, was actually called Security. It came out in 1982, and I guess it featured, I got that album for Christmas, had this real odd cover. I mean, you look it up right now on Google Images, you see what I'm talking about. But you figure out, what the heck is that thing on the front and back cover there? But it's interesting to look at, because a lot of prog rock bands out there come up with some damn interesting album covers.
Yeah. And I don't remember which album it was on, but he also did Shock the Monkey.
That's the album right there, Security.
Yeah.
And for I understand...
Now, out of... sorry.
Okay? And for I understand, that song was about, I guess it was an anti-vivisection song, if I'm correct.
I don't know.
Because when you listen to the lyrics, like, watch the monkey get hurt, monkey. Let me look it up for you. Guys,
that sounds almost like a anti-animal cruelty song.
Yeah, that's anti-vivisection. That's what it's called.
Out of the two, or out of the Peter Gabriel and the I'm losing my
McCartney.
No, out of in that band, Genesis.
Yeah.
Who came out of this big? Peter Gabriel, and who else was in there?
Well, it was Mike Rutherford, Tony Banks, Steve Hackett. Phil Collins.
Phil Collins,
yes, the big guy up there, because he went on to did so much during.
Well, that was my question. Between Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins, who do you think had the more successful singles career, solo career?
Oh boy.
Well, it's a cross between Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins, because Peter Gabriel was more avant-garde, whereas Phil Collins was more top 40. Right. He would come out with all these top 40 hits from his solo records, like No Jacket Required, Hello, I Must Be Going, Dancing to the Light there. But also,
of course, Gabriel had some
big hits as well. Yes, Salisbury Hill, In Your Eyes with, and of course, his duet with Kate Bush called Don't Give Up.
And then there's Sledgehammer.
Yeah, absolutely. That came out, those two tracks came out in 1986. The album called Soul, he would also release it Us, and later an album called Up. And around this time, he also formed his own record label called Real World Records, which would distribute music from all parts of the world. Whereas in Nigeria, Africa, Australia, this country, that country there. And he also really put it out 2 albums based on the Last Temptation of Christ movie, which came out in 1988. Look it up, YR, and you see what I'm talking about
Well,
there.
I know the Mel Gibson one, but there's another Jesus movie you're talking about. Came out in the
No,
'80s.
yeah, it's called The Last
Oh, okay.
Temptation of Christ. It was based on the book, and this movie and the book caused massive amounts of controversy. In fact, the director Martin Scorsese, he was actually put on trial in the country of Italy for making that movie.
Mm.
You know, you got to look it up on the Wikipedia to see what it's all about. But he released the 2 albums, Peter Gabriel did, built around this movie. Passion, which was his work, was while Sources was a collection of tracks and pieces from other artists from the Egyptian area there. He also did. Oh, by the way, he also did the
Who do you
soundtrack.
like better? Who do
What
you like better, Peter Gabriel solo or Phil Collins solo? Who do you
I
like better?
prefer Peter Gabriel because he had a lot of interesting
He
subjects
did,
in it. Yeah,
yeah.
he like
I
for
got to go along with that.
because remember, the song Biko was about Stephen Biko, who was, you remember, was the subject of a movie called Cry Freedom with, I guess it was Denzel Washington and Kevin Kline. It was about Stephen Biko, who was an activist for the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa. And plus, Gabriel came up with a lot of the different topics in his songs there, as like Wallflower from Security. That was about a political prisoner.
Yeah, he didn't stick to one style of music. He moved around a lot.
Absolutely, there. The rhythm and the heat, the rhythm of the heat. That's another good one there. The San Jacinto, which is the second track. I guess it's a sort of a murder, for what I understand, that took place in that area there. The Family and the Fishing Net. Lay Your Hands on Me is another damn good song there. Definitely a good album to check it out, along with the awesome cover on the front and back there. I'm still looking up the Shock the Monkey. Now, here's this. The song Shock the Monkey is often assumed to be an animal rights song or the reference to the famous experiments by Stanley Milgram, described in this book, Obedience to Authority. It is neither.
Right.
But the Gabriel song, We Do What We're Told, from his 86 album, So, does directly deal with Milgram. Peter Gabriel himself described the Shock the Monkey as a love song which examines how
What?
jealousy can release one's basic instincts. The monkey is not a literal monkey, but a metaphor for one's feelings of jealousy. He has
Wow.
mentioned that the song's lyrical motif was inspired by King Kong's lightning powers in the movie King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Wow.
Yeah. And the music video for this, if you ever see this video, YR, definitely check. Oh, you got to check it out if you haven't watched it. It's known for its bizarre, disturbing video, written and directed by Brian Grant at MGMM Studios. It was played heavily on the early days at MTV, which features both Gabriel in both white face paint and a frightening look, Champagne Monkey. Gabriel appears in 2 guises. One is a businessman, a CIA type of guy in a dark suit, and as a modern primitive shaman, face painted, and dressed in white, with geometric markings on his face. The video cuts between the 2 rooms, each resembling an office. A movie projector plays zoo footage of a gibbon, which is a lesser ape, not a monkey, in
Right.
both rooms. As the video proceeds, events of the normal office, the black guy with the black suit, it becomes increasingly irregular and disturbing with objects in the room in increasing disarray, like the roof coming down on him. for some reason, raining inside the office there.
Wow.
Gabriel displays increasing pressure, anger, fear as the chaos occurs. The office footage is increasingly intersperses with black and white footage of Gabriel fleeing from something unknown in the wilderness and the disoriented Gabriel in different settings, including central London, what looks to be an office or a hospital. At the end, the dark-suited Gabriel emerges with his face painted like the other guy in the white suit. And in the final shot, the two Gabriels are mixing together over that gibbon. And it was, man, it was a trip. It was also came out, by the way, as a 7-inch picture disc, in the, I guess, with an addition to the 7-inch and 12-inch black vinyl singles. And there was a couple of remixes done by a company called Hot Tracks, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The McCartney song I was talking about was Looking for Changes. That one is definitely anti-animal cruelty.
I see. Because I remember there about the 90s, he became an anti-cruelty of the animals activist just as well there. In fact, his late wife, Linda, she came up with these veggie food products, I guess it was, for a while. Not though they're still in continuation after her death, but who knows? You know, they made a big impact on the animal rights movement there.
Yeah.
Along with Skinny Puppy, the industrial band from Vancouver, Canada.
Hey. You're a big Skinny Puppy guy, right, Brian?
Absolutely. Fuck. You remember on my channel, I discussed that group of other industrial acts with Cronin last year there.
Yes.
I think it was in early 2000 or late 2019, I think it was. I got to check again because it's so long back there.
Well, I know that both Cronin and JB, if it came out before about 1990 or so, they just simply aren't interested.
Oh, wow.
Other than Cronin has expressed that he likes Pink Floyd.
Yeah, he has a few times there. He's talked about, Ministry. He's talked about, Skinny Puppy a couple times in the past, But
Ken's Ken's like our kind of guy. He likes our kind of music, your Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah.
Van Halen too. He's into what is his other favorite band? I know he's a big Metallica guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ken, you know what I'm saying? So
yes. Yeah.
Doors. I know he likes the Doors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yes.
The Beatles.
You don't find many of those.
Yeah, Doors are a lot more respected more in the goth rock genre because people cite Morrison as one of the first goth rockers out there because he wrote some pretty wild, dark stuff there.
Love me 2 times, Kenny.
Or the Celebration of the Lizard.
Yeah.
And of course, the end. That was one of the most brutal.
Oh man, that one. Holy cow,
dude! When they performed that song for the first time, and when Morrison, delivered that infamous line, they were booted off the stage. They were fired right then and there by the club manager that they were performing in. And I guess there's a new version out there where a remix version where. After when the tempo builds up back to the main, to the final verse there, I guess Morrison's like fuck, over and over and over. I heard it a couple times there, so it was on Canadian radio because F words are not allowed on music unless it's in artistic form.
Right.
Yeah. But. I guess you could say, as I mentioned, Jim Morrison being one of the first pioneers of the goth rock genre next to Screaming Jay Hawkins or Black Sabbath.
Yeah. And I guess we've concluded our Genesis. I just want to mention that Monday, we're going to move to Kansas. Well, we're not going to move to Kansas.
We're going to Kansas.
We're
going to talk about Kansas, the band
right.
Kansas, because we don't really hear much about Kansas anymore. I guess they're still functioning.
They're still together. They're still doing stuff, but the band's a lot different.
Yeah, I guess Steve Walsh is not their frontman no more again.
I don't think he is.
I know.
Well, we'll figure that out
And
when
of
we
course, the
get into
violin.
it Monday.
Of course, the violin player, what's his name, Bobby Earnhardt, I guess it was.
Robbie Steinhardt.
Robbie Steinhardt. He passed away not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were pretty much the first American prog band.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anybody else before them.
Not that we know of. Of course, later on we'll get the second U.S. prog band to make it big, Dream Theater.
Yeah. But we'll do Kansas, and I guess planning ahead, we'll follow that with Rush.
Yeah, because they were like one of the big rigs of prog metal.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when, instead of just prog, we started moving into other things like prog metal, prog this, prog that, symphonic prog.
Yep.
Well,
or prog alternative.
Well, two things.
Yeah,
would you consider, and I believe this is the first band you saw in concert, Dr. Brown, was the band Triumph?
Yes, it was. It was back in 1983. They played the Jolo Serena. Me and my dad went.
Triumph and Boston, who is more prog rockish? Or are they both prog rock?
Well, they're not based. They're not really prog rock when you think about it. You know, Boston had a few prog rock moments in their songs, but mostly they were in the instrumentals. Triumph was basically good old-fashioned Canadian rock.
Foreplay long time.
Yeah.
That's definitely prog.
The Launch from the third album, Third Stage, and the Journey from the second record, Don't Look Back. Mostly the instrumentals there.
Yeah, Boston was on the verge of prog. I mean, they kind of juggled it, because More Than a Feeling's not prog. Neither's what is a rock and roll band?
Yeah, you're right. Y'all are right about that.
Yeah,
those aren't prog.
It's just basic rock and roll. That's about it.
But Foreplay Long Time? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely prog.
Definitely.
So they're kind of a mixed band, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And then Brown, in the 2010s and 2000s, like the newer Iron Maiden, they kind of got a little like I would consider like arena prog-ish.
Well, in
a way, Iron Maiden.
There are a lot of bands that did that. They do a little prog, they do a little whatever else they did. They'd mix it in.
Yeah. I think the only prog thing that Iron Maiden would really come up to me would have to be Rime of the Ancient Mariner from '84 there.
Well, no, I'm saying like their newer, like not the album they just came out with, but like the album before that, or like in the 2000s, like some of the newer,
like
the album or two. Yeah, like an album or two, they experimented, and you can tell. You know what I'm saying? A lot of instrumental, longer songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, heck, when you think about it, Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Their first three albums were psychedelic prog.
Yeah. Child in Time.
And then they moved into the metal with the occasional prog type song.
Like Burn, like Speed Demon, or Speed King, I meant to say.
Yeah. But those first three albums, which not a lot of people are aware of, was mostly psychedelic and prog.
Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of metal in any of the three. There's some, but nothing.
What about a Grateful Dead? Would you call that prog rock?
No, band. It's a jam band. It's hippie jam band. Yeah.
I do like their band.
Yeah.
Were you ever into them, Brown?
No.
It's called. He said, how are we going to address? I said, well, I think we should address the situation with Carlos Cabral on the YR channel. I don't think we should do it on your channel, because it's just like we just got through talking about music, and I just texted him like, dude, we just got through talking about music. I don't think
Yes, I got a drama show set up, bro. I got a drama show set up after this.
All right, nice.
Yes,
and I'll be joining in as well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I'll be simulcasting as well.
I'll mention on the Grateful Dead, their second album, Anthem of the Sun, does sound proggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all in all, the Grateful Dead are mostly a jam band altogether.
Yes.
There. I mean, I guess because progressive rock's not a new term.
No.
No, it's been around since the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact,
I guess
it
if
started
it's
in the
more
60s.
folky, if it's more folky and not as like hard, I guess they call it the jam band then.
Well, no, they do have a genre called prog folk, which I kind of like, what? Okay.
Oh, wow. I never heard about this.
Dang.
But what about Jethro Tull, which I consider prog?
They're prog.
Prog, absolutely. Prog Renaissance rock.
Yeah, they're definitely prog.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some radio songs.
Absolutely. But
even those were proggy in nature.
Absolutely. Check out A Passion Play, the whole album.
Minstrel in the Gallery, thick as a brick.
Yeah, absolutely. Why? If you ever see the original copy of Thick as a Brick on vinyl, that you're going to be amazed. It's made out like a newspaper for crying out loud. Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They play the flute, right?
Yes, Ian Anderson.
He stands on one leg and plays the flute.
Yeah, a lot of the time. That's what he does, what he has once they hit those high flute notes there, apparently.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands that are considered prog that you kind of go, okay. But, in a sense, the core 7 Moody Blues albums are considered prog.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. The core 7, you got to check those albums out. Definitely YR, Prince Montella as well. You got to check those albums. And we encourage everybody listening to check them out just as well, man.
Yeah.
And I mentioned last week, and I'll mention it again, Procol Harum dips between prog and regular songs, because they have a song in their Shine On Brightly album that's 17 minutes long. It's called In Hell 'Twas I. That is definitely prog.
Oh, yes. And we cannot forget the Iron Butterflies in the Gata da Vida, which awesome, which was prog, which, by the way, as we mentioned, was actually supposed to be the Garden of Eden, but I guess the guy who was writing the song tried to mispronounce. He mispronounced it because he was drunk off his ass.
Yeah, and Iron Butterfly was actually a psychedelic / prog band, because they definitely dealt in psychedelic.
Yeah, they
did. What about that band? I just had them on the tip of my tongue. Oh man, I saw them when they opened for Maiden, like in 2010. A Dream Theater.
Oh, they're definitely prog.
They're definitely prog, but about a pound, man. And they're still together. In fact, their guitar player, John Petrucci, he's like considered the signature artist to Ernie Ball guitars. He has this. He just come out with an 8-string Majesty guitar. He plays a custom guitar that's built for him by that company called the Majesty. You got to definitely look it up on Google Images.
Oh, 8-string?
Yes, an 8-string of that, and a regular 6-string.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any more on the list? Any more on the list tonight?
I think that'd probably be it, I guess, if I'm correct.
Well, actually, this is just mentioning people. After we get done with Kansas and Rush, I'll see if there's anybody else we need to do. If not, we'll go into a list of bands.
Yeah. And by the way, while we're on the subject of bands, we got to talk about Richie Faulkner of Judas Priest.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. I was going to see if y'all are done with the list so we can dive into the Richie Faulkner stuff.
Yeah, I've heard, yeah.
So let me give you my background on it.
Yeah.
I was planning on spending like $500 on tickets.
$500?
Listen, well, number one, let me tell you the set list that they fucking have, Earl.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna tell you the songs on the set list. I know every song, but like there's like one song I don't know, and it's like a newer song.
All right.
All right, so here's their set list that they've been doing. They start off with War Pigs just playing the song, obviously from Sabbath. Gets everyone. So the first song is One Shot at Glory, the Painkiller album.
Yep.
Their second song, which is off their new album, which I'm not familiar with, is Lightning Strike.
Yep, good song there.
Third song, you got Another Thing Coming, and then from the fourth song and on, it's on fucking fire, dude.
Oh wow.
Free Will Burning for number 4.
Yep.
Turbo Lover for number 5. Hell Patrol, number 6. A lot of songs on the Painkiller album. The Sentinel, number 7. A Touch of
Badass.
Evil. A Touch of Evil, number 8. Rockarola. Number 9, Victim of Changes, of course. For number 10,
Classic.
Desert Plains, bro.
Yeah, baby.
One point point of entry album. Blood Red Skies.
Badass tune.
Invader.
All right.
And then Painkiller. And then they have an encore with Electric Eye. And their 3 hits, Hellbent for Leather, Breaking the Law, and Living After Midnight. And then they close with We Are the Champions, played on the rate, the song.
Right. I'm surprised another thing coming that was done earlier on the show because you usually reserve that for the
Well,
towards
it
the
is.
end of
That's
the
number.
show.
Yeah. That's number 3. Well, they got to throw in. That's what I'm saying. The first, couple songs is like okay, but then from 4 on, it's like whoa. And then if you look up on YouTube, bro, Judas Priest 2021, like his voice is the best he's sang these songs in years.
Yes, and
And
by
he
the
was
way,
really good.
if you ever checked out the way he did with the band at this moment, they did a song called Black Wedding. I heard one time there, which is
He
pretty
was
good.
on.
Yeah, it was a duet with the band at this moment. It's a song called
So
Black Wedding.
I'm gonna give you my selfish outlook onto this.
All right.
Is I've been waiting a long time to do this. I was gonna go all in. I was gonna get these tickets. The tickets were gonna be like 10th row, center on the floor.
Wow.
Right. I was gonna get picks thrown at me, everything. So it happened on the night. So that morning I looked, I saw. So what ended up happening is this guy's 41. Now keep in mind he's not the original guitarist of
Yes,
the band
we know.
Judas Priest.
Yes.
He's been in the band for about 10 years.
Yep.
Done like 3 albums with them. He's very good guitarist. Very, very, very,
Very
good.
good, Price.
And he pretty much does like 90% of the guitar. I mean, I know like Judas Priest is 50-50 guitar band, but nowadays, since obviously KK and
Yeah, obviously,
Glenn's
and
out of the
plus,
band.
yeah, Glenn Tipton, he always has Parkinson's disease, and plus, the current guitarist in his place, Andy Sneap, he's basically just a fill-in guitarist. I don't think he's that much of a lead guitarist. I don't know. I've yet to
Now
hear
more
him
like
do
a
a solo.
rhythm, more the rhythm, and then obviously when they
Yeah.
do songs like "Victim of Changes" and "Sentinel," they do the twin guitar,
Yes.
intro
Yes,
together.
that's so true. Yes.
But it's it's more a show built around Halford, obviously.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what, and then they do like 4 songs off Painkiller album because Scott Travis is
Your
you know what
drummer.
I'm saying, drummer.
Yeah.
He was on that album, but so I was
What
gonna
was the
buy
best?
this. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what was the best seats you ever had, or was this gonna be it?
I've got 4th row ZZ Top, Jimmy Buffett.
Nice. Cool.
I got 2nd row Kiss.
Oh, wow.
Very, very good. Like 1st row Creed.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it would have been. I mean, it would have been the loudest concert for sure, definitely, because Priest is loud, and I would have been right there. It would have been the loudest.
The
I mean, like
best-
I've gone, the Trans-Siberian's pretty loud.
Yeah.
But definitely Priest would have been.
Yeah.
Would have been loud.
My first was the best seats I had for a concert was when Journey with Brian Adams played the Joe Louis Arena back in '83.
Wow.
Me and my sister's boyfriend at that time, he got the tickets. We went down there. I guess it was a birthday present to me there around that time. So we was up front there, way up front. Good show by Brian Adams. Good show by Journey there, and it was fun. It was absolutely fun.
Best seats that I had 4th row center for the Guess Who and Joe Cocker.
Ooh.
Yep. And also, I forgot to mention 2 other best seats I had was right up front for the past couple.
If I say attitude. Okay.
And the best seats I guess I ever had was front row center to see Robin Trower and Peter Frampton in a semi-small club in Austin.
Wow.
See, the issue is nowadays, as y'all know, I'm probably half y'all's age, but I'm still, I'm the old soul here.
Yeah.
Back in the day, tickets weren't as expensive as they are
Expensive.
now. I mean,
Yeah,
you go to a Metallica show, go to a Metallica show first row, see how much that is.
Oh God, I'm afraid to find out. I'm surprised that. Well, how many tickets? How many tickets would? How could a $500 for how many Judas Priest
Well, no,
tickets?
listen. So it's basically it's 200 a piece
Wow,
on the floor.
200 a
But and then
piece.
you got
Holy fuck.
the surcharges, which is an extra 20 each on the ticket. And then I would have done the insurance on 10 each on the ticket insurance, just in case they canceled like they did.
Yeah,
Or they didn't cancel,
Yep.
they
they're
postponed.
postponing
But
because
but
Faulkner's had
this guy
surgery.
ended up having heart surgery, bro. And so when you coming back from heart surgery, the recovery time on that ain't no couple weeks thing, and they're gonna this is gonna be probably a 2022, 2023 extension on their tour if he makes it back healthy.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I think after I had my heart episode, I was back to work in like 4 weeks, but I took a while to recover.
Yeah, but everyone's not saying that. Obviously, this guy took the shot, the vaccine. He's 41
Yeah,
years old.
sure.
You got
Yeah.
Rob Halford. He's 70 years old up there. He's fine, bro. He's singing like he's always just great.
I think he had surgery somewhere in his body, if I understand it, reading a couple of years in the magazine there, I guess.
But yeah, I'm just talking about these events, like these catastrophic events. Like this doesn't happen to 41-year-old men, bro. When you're healthy, I mean, he's healthy being on the stage doing his concerts.
Yeah, I was 60.
I mean, no one's saying it. I was going to call in Eddie Trunk the other day. I mean, I'm not going to bring the vaccine stuff up on his show, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a big thing to say or something, but obviously that probably is what it is, bro. There's, I mean, we don't want to say too much, but we know that you're not 40 and having, and he's not, overweight. This guy's a professional lead guitarist, bro.
Yep.
So, actually, let me see if I have a picture of him.
Yes.
I don't know if I put it out.
I know what he looks like. Yeah, definitely.
Long blonde hair. Here we go.
Absolutely.
And you look at this guy, you look at Halford, you can tell Halford's really old. This guy looks young.
Yeah. And you notice that Halford has that massive white beard on.
Yes. But I mean, when he sings, like, if you look up Blood Red Skies Live 2021 on YouTube, when he's singing that song, I mean, people giving him standing ovations.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's one of the one of the best prime singers that are out there. I mean, like, this guy influenced Sebastian Bach. He influenced this singer, that singer there. I mean,
he does the echoes. He does the echo thing with, but with the effects. But that just makes, I mean, it ain't like he's playing traction on. It's really him singing, but it just makes the voice more just majestic and more epic. I think when you hear those echoes, like at some of these songs.
Yeah, that has a lot. That does a lot.
Yeah, he is absolutely there. Gosh, and let's not also forget. I got to throw this. A couple years back, I remember hearing that Luciano Pavarotti gave Halford the thumbs up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that
remember
was
that
the man.
Yeah, he was.
He can sing in different tones, like what like all of those different the baritones and all those different type of how he sings in multiple different ways.
Yeah,
like that, whatever the proper term is.
Yeah, next to Axl Rose, who I guess sings in 5 different octaves.
Yes. Oh God, please don't talk about him. I get too happy.
Oh,
That's my guy.
Oh, you're a big Axl Rose fan?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, I'm a huge Axl Rose fan. I actually like Guns N' Roses and Skid Row with Sebastian Bach. Those are my 2 guys right there.
All right.
Sebastian Bach has a beautiful voice, beautiful hair, gorgeous looking guy. Sebastian Bach. Oh my God, back in the day, he was a gorgeous looking fella. Tall too, very tall.
Well, did either one of you guys listen to that one that Dr. Earl and I told you about last time?
Yes, I actually did. Because Dr. Earl sent me the link and everything. Got me all set up.
All right.
Was that something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, that guitar playing is quite something I'm trying to do.
What was it that you sent?
It was it's a band called Ginger with 2 J's instead of G's. Look it up, YR.
You send me the link.
Yes, I did. The track is called Pisces. So let's check it out, YR. You're going to be like, whoa.
I was like, God, Lee.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Guitar work in that song was phenomenal.
Especially the singer. I mean, you never thought you would expect a lady to do what she does. I would just let it go at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, another band I've gotten into pretty heavy that we discussed before was Nightwish.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got to bring that up one time, because they're considered one of the biggest bands out of Finland there.
Yeah.
And
They're part of what they call symphonic metal.
Yeah, I mentioned my ex-girlfriend was big onto that. So them with them Temptation, Epica, and many other bands out there. She was massively big on that scene there.
And a girl in my neighborhood, back when I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, she was the niece of Axl Rose's first wife, Erin Everly, who's the daughter of the Everly brothers.
Yes.
Dude, what a gorgeous woman. And I got a chance to meet someone. I guess that was her niece or her friend's child, who's like, I guess she's calling her niece, but I don't know if that was her niece or not. But she was staying with Erin Everly, who is the first wife
of Axl Rose. Yes.
Oh my God. That girl named Ashley, she was, oh my God, her name was Ashley Brown. She was just like Erin Everly. She was gorgeous.
And
when she was telling me her uncle is one of the guys from the Everly brothers. I was like, okay. Then I come to find out her aunt is Erin, who was married to Axl. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Shocking. And apparently, Doc, I think she still stays in Atlanta, Georgia. Erin Everly.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Good to get out of L.A. there. And she got away from Axl Rose. Apparently, for what I understand, Axl was no Rose to her, I guess.
Yeah, he's a violent man.
He was an asshole. I don't know how he is now, but at that time, he was going through Axl, as we all know, grew up in an abusive household. We all know that he used to get
frick.
Yeah.
Did you see the ways he used to leave the concerts when audience members used to?
Yep, absolutely, yes.
Of course. Now Sean's view. Sorry to bring his name up, but Sean's view. I told him I don't get along with.
What?
Come on, man. This isn't a drama show, Prince.
I know. I was just saying he's a big fan of Nirvana. I'm not a big fan of Nirvana.
Neither am I. Neither was I. I never liked Nirvana at the beginning, but because of the simple fact that they're just the soft, sensitive stuff, it basically ruined the rock and roll that we knew from the 80s. Throughout the whole 90s, all these bands had to be sensitive, had to sound so soft and everything else. It's about the emotion. I was like, give us a break. I can't stand it.
Your opinion on grunge music?
No, I didn't really. No, I never really cared for it. The only thing I would have listed that was considered grunge would be a couple songs from Soundgarden, and that was about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of a like mind on that.
Kind of killed heavy metal. I think grunge really killed heavy metal music.
Well, heavy metal came back, but before the little tidbits of grunge into it there. No longer do we see bands in boots, spandex, hair out to here, they're more basically down to earth when you look about it there.
Yeah.
And some of them now there have, those chained, they wear their wallets with the chains clipped to their side there a lot of times, Converse sneakers and piercings here and there with their earlobes stretched out to here, which I'm against.
Yeah. I'm more of a glam rock type of guy. Like I said, I love Michael Monroe from Arknolia Rocks. I'm more of a glam rock type of guy.
Yes.
Like Prince, like how he was always flashy but decent.
Yeah, Saga, Rat.
Yeah.
Oh, Prince. Cinderella, yeah. Oh, may I recommend this to you, Prince? It's an album I did a review on that I have on my MP3 here. It came out in 1984 called Burns Like a Star by Stone Fury. The singer from that band, Lady Wolf, would later become the frontman for Kingdom Come a couple years later. Good album. Damn good album. Should have gotten more recognition, more radio airplay. Man, should have received a lot more respect.
Now, there's, I don't know if you know this, there's a lot of new bands I listen to. One is called, this new band called Reckless Love. And then there's other band that is called Santa Cruz. And I like Santa Cruz because every member in that group, oh my God, Doc, They can shred on that guitar. I mean, they can rip. And I mean, they can rip for a new up-and-coming band that is actually mentored by Sebastian Bach. He's a mentor.
All right.
So they guys, I highly recommend this group called Santa Cruz.
All right.
They're
Definitely.
so good.
There was this one band I don't know if they're still together. I remember seeing that. It was really taken away by this one. It just took my breath away. It was a group called Ledgelord. They played this empty. They played the Ritz and Roseville on the Sunday evening. There was hardly any people there. They had this album called Master Control. And they played these songs from that album. And I was like, wow, these guys are damn good. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad that. You know. They never really, I don't know if they ever released the second record here and there. I'm not too sure, but it's sad that the world never got a chance to really know them because, as you know, they, just came and went. I don't know what's going on now with them, but sadly, it's, I'm a loss for words, but the world should have known who the hell they were, because they were that damn good.
Well, there's a lot of bands that happens to for some reason.
I know, yeah.
You listen to them, you said, hey, these guys are good.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, nothing.
I know. They just, we don't see or hear from them ever again, which is a bummer. All right. So let me get this straight here. We'll probably go to close out the show here. So Wire's going to go on with, we're going to do his drama show with you, Prince, and Carlos.
Yes, are you going to join us on that one?
Yes, I will. In fact,
simulcasting, yes.
Yes, we are. I'm going to get things set up, and this and that here, and I'm going to be joining you.
Yeah, let's wait. Let's give it like 3 to 5 minutes. Let's take a little break, and then I'm gonna go on the.
All right, there. I gotta take a leak myself.
All right.
All right, there. All right, so
I gotta go ahead and go, so I'm done.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it. Okay. Arnolia.
All right.
Arnolia. What's the list? Topics for next week? Is it Rush? You said?
No,
Kansas.
It's the band Kansas. That'll be on Monday.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll look forward to it, brother.
All right, there. All right. And of course,
talk to y'all later.
All right, then. Of course,
go ahead.
All right. For myself, Prince Donatello, YR, Arknolia Strokabine. This is Arknolia the Doctor. You guys have yourself an awesome Thursday evening. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. All right.